up, what up, what up? Finally back with another episode of Ness-XT, starring me, your boy True Hill Ness. What up, guys? It has been a long time since I have graced your TV or computer screen or your phone, whatever. But it's been a while since I've been here. I had a little technical difficulties going on with my equipment. You know, shout out to my True Hill brethren, Chris G from Blunt Impact and Joints and Jabronis, and my boy, my other True Hill brother, the Stat King from Dark Power. Guys filled in for me, greatly appreciate it. But I'm finally back. Let's finally get back into, you know, this NXT review, man. So I've been away for a while, and this is a good episode for me to come back to because I'm gonna keep it funky. This was an episode of WWE NXT. There's a reason why I'm saying it. WWE NXT. It's usually just NXT. But today, this week's episode of NXT is WWE NXT. And as I'm going through the breakdown of the show, you'll understand why I'm calling it WWE NXT. Basically, a lot of the shit on this episode didn't make fucking sense. Tried to find a logic in it, wasn't any. Because it's just like an episode of Raw or SmackDown. A lot of shit was not making sense. But, you know, I'm not even just going to talk about it right now. Let's just get into it. So, the first match on the card. Oh, also, heads up. I'm reviewing this episode from Hulu. They only got the hour. So, you know, obviously another hour is cut out. So, I'm probably missing a lot of stuff. But obviously, it wasn't that fucking important because it's not on Hulu episode. So, I'm only covering what was on Hulu. I didn't watch NXT live. It wasn't on the network, and Hulu has it the next day. So I'm going off the Hulu episode. That's a fair warning. So don't be like, oh, you missed this, you missed all this stuff in the episode. I know I missed that shit because I didn't see it. It's not on the Hulu episode, so it didn't fucking happen. But anywho, so the first match on the card was Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai with, what's her name? I don't know, her version of Diesel. Mexican Diesel. Female Mexican Diesel. Raquel Gonzalez. So, this match was it was okay. It started off very okay. You know, these ladies had a blood feud going on, you know, stemming back from TakeOver War Games. And one point that I actually did like, that the fact that this is a cage match, was that this all started in a cage, you know, with War Games being in a cage. So their quote-unquote feud coming to a head, so to speak, or hitting one of the climaxes in this story, that the ladies are going to end up, you know, having a blow-off in a cage. That makes sense. That's actually proper booking. They even mentioned that in the episode of NXT. So yeah, that makes sense. That's one of the few things on this episode that made sense. Again, the match, they're just brawling, they're fighting, they're going at it, you know, not really a lot of wrestling. There was some decent spots that Tegan Nox performed onto Dakota Kai. You know, obviously she has the anger. She got turned on by her best friend. You know, she's getting attacked, having a numbers game, you know, she's just getting ganged up on, not really got anybody to, you know, watch her back. So, you know, she's just taking out everything that's happened since TakeOver War Games, which was like in November, you know, up till now. It's fucking March. You know, all this stuff that's been going on, and she's finally got a chance to get her hands on Dakota Kai, like, in a proper setting. Now, I know they had matches before, but This is like, you know, it's just these two now. Like, no outside interference, you would think. Yeah, so this match is going on. There was one spot I liked. They were both on like the top, you know, rope as they're like trying to scale the cage, and Tegan Nox hits Dakota Kai with like a choke slam. Again, Dakota Kai was taking, like, selling Tegan Nox's offense very well in this match. I will say that. Now, here's where the dumb shit comes in. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 fucking times. Dakota Kai, no, I'm sorry, not Dakota Kai. Tegan Nox climbs the top of the cage. Never thinks to fucking leave the cage. No, I'm gonna climb the cage just to climb the cage. Once, I forgot 2 of the times what the fuck she did. Well, the first time I forgot what she did. The second time, you know, she does a crossbody press off the top of the cage onto Dakota Kai. And then the last time she tries to leave the cage, she gets stopped by Raquel Gonzalez. You stupid bitch. Just jump out the fucking cage. What are you doing? Why are you waiting? Stupid. That was some dumb shit. And then the last time she's trying to leave the cage, she gets trapped by the cage door by Raquel Gonzalez. So that Dakota Kai ends up leaving the cage, and her dumb ass loses. Because you took all this time to try to fucking leave the cage and didn't leave the cage. So, and also, Raquel Gonzalez is trying to get in the cage. You know, first of all, cage matches don't have any rules. The ref is like, oh no, you got to get out of here. You can't do this. Yes, the fuck she can. Because there's no disqualification. How are you trying to put rules on a match that has no rules? Like, what the fuck is going on here? But anywho, again, I liked the match when it first started, but, you know, main roster booking shenanigans came into play towards the end of the match, and for whatever reason, Dakota Kai got the victory in one of the most stupidest ways ever, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree. Don't care. But again, Tegan Nox had plenty of chances to get out of the cage. But I guess the fact that she had Dakota Kai in the cage to inflict pain on her was better than actually winning the match. But even though the match was over, she was there looking like a dumbass and upset because she lost. Because her stupid ass didn't leave the cage. You know, so again, that match gets like a C+. Now I'll give it a B- because again, that was entertaining. That was the actual better cage match of the night. We'll get into that later. So, now, moving on. There was a Finn Balor promo. Last week, you know, I didn't give you guys a recap or review of last week's show, but I'll go into a little bit of it. Last week, Finn was attacked by some members of the NXT UK stable, Imperium. He was attacked by Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel on behalf of the reigning, defending NXT UK champion, Walter. Now, this is what I don't get. Finn's clearly a heel, to my understanding. So, right now he's looking real baby faces. Really tongue-tied. Baby face-ish. So, all this time of, you know, the Prince being back, is now the Prince the good guy? Like, what the fuck is going on with this now? Like, this is what I'm talking about. A bunch of shit that's going on. Now, if they're actually going to have a heel versus heel, which WWE can't do that shit. I don't give a fuck if it's NXT, main roster, none of that shit. You can't have heel versus heel in WWE under any umbrella, under any fucking brand, none of that shit. Because it doesn't work out that way. Right now, Finn is looking like a babyface. And he literally just turned heel not too long ago. You know, so, I don't know. They might be building this towards a takeover match. Now, in the long run, Finn being back in NXT, you know, brings his fan base to the NXT eyes, or eyes on NXT. And if, just if, he becomes NXT UK champion, which I'm pretty sure they're building towards a match for that, you know, that might get more eyes onto the NXT UK brand. Again, I don't know how they're going to book this shit, because you got two heels, but one looking like a babyface that's been doing way more heel shit than the actual heel that you have in this, you know, starting this feud. So we'll see where that goes. That shit don't make no sense to me. Again, this is WWE NXT this week. So next was the video package. This is the biggest, and I'm not gonna say biggest, but this was video package Rhea Ripley, you know, just showcasing her matchup coming up with Charlotte, you know, how, you know, it's a big moment for her and stuff like that, which is a big moment. If this match stays a one-on-one, I'm hoping that, you know, Rhea Ripley gets her moment and beats Charlotte. Like, what better rub than beating the most decorated woman on, you know, in WWE's roster. You know, pretty much the most decorated woman in WWE history by far, Charlotte Flair. You know, what rub than that is better than that? There is none, honestly. But that's only if this match stays a one-on-one. You know, if you guys have been watching, it might turn into a triple threat, adding Bianca Belair. But again, we don't know where they're going with that. That might be the move, it might not. Who knows? We'll see. Next, it was a promo from Keith Lee. He comes out, starts to cut a promo, interrupted by Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes was getting booed out of the building, which is fucking great, because he's actual heel, getting actual heel heat. There's a bunch of heels in WWE NXT. I'm calling it that this episode, because that's exactly what the fuck it was. And Cameron Grimes actually is getting heel heat. So he's getting true heel heat. You know, so while he's getting booed, you know, him and Keith Lee, they go back and forth. They, you know, have their back and forth or whatever. Keith Lee ends up shoving his ass out of the ring. Cameron Grimes versus Keith Lee. I don't even remember if it's for the North American Championship or not. No, it is for the North American Championship. Next week, that's going to happen on NXT. So you can look out for that. That's going to be a dope-ass match. I'm a fan of both of these guys. You guys know I talk highly of Cameron Grimes. I am a huge fan of Cameron Grimes. But he's not going to be a match for Keith Lee. But that match is going to be a banger. So be on the lookout for that. Next match on the card was Undisputed Era versus Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. This was just pretty much wasn't a squash, but it was just pretty much a match for the Undisputed Era to go out there and do their thing, regain some momentum as, you know, they're intertwined in the feud with the Broserweights, Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle. So after the match, obviously Undisputed Era won with the high and low combination onto, I think it was Oney Lorcan. I don't really remember which one it was. None of that even really fucking matters. The match didn't even matter. It was what happened after the match that made the bigger impact. So after the match was over, you know, Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, they cut a promo on the Bruiserweights. So out comes the Bruiserweights, you know, saying, yeah, you guys, you want a rematch, you know, you want to try to have another shot at these titles, you know, we cool with that. We can, you know, I don't mind. This is Matt Riddle talking. He doesn't mind. He said Pete Dunne doesn't mind, and he's sure William Regal doesn't mind. So, you know, it's going to be, it can go down. But while in the middle of explaining that, they're attacked by NXT UK tag team, the Grizzled Young Vets, Zach Gibson and James Drake. James Drake cuts a promo saying that it's time to get out with the old, as in the Undisputed Era and the the Broserweights, and in with the new as the Grizzled Young Vets. Excuse me. Next week is going to be the Grizzled Young Vets. I believe, is it next week? No. Don't quote me on this. I believe next week is going to be Undisputed Era versus Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. I have a feeling that the Grizzled Young Vets are going to cost them that match. Cost Undisputed Era that match. My personal opinion, I hope that they move on from Undisputed Era. These guys are 3-time tag team champions. The only ones to be a 3-time tag team champions in NXT history. We don't need to overdo it anymore. They had their chance. They had their time. Move on. You're like, now you guys are oversaturating the Undisputed Era. Like, it's cool. They had their time. They can move on. Let them do other things. You know, even let some of them get singles, as far as the tag team. These guys, let them compete in singles competition now. Like, just get it on. I hope that the Grizzled Young Vets actually cost Undisputed Era this match, so that we can go into another feud, because the match in the Mae Young Classic between the Grizzled Young Vets and the Broserweights was very, very good. I was very entertained by that match, and I would love to see them go at it again for the NXT Tag Team Championships. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, moving on. Now, another one of the better parts of NXT wasn't an actual match. Johnny Gargano had a sit-down interview with Mauro Ranallo, and the passion, the hurt, the emotion, just everything surrounding this interview, it was real. It was real. It was raw, and Johnny Gargano put on an amazing performance. Mauro Ranallo also put on an amazing performance. It made you uncomfortable. Johnny is just like sitting here wondering, why everybody's so worried about wondering why I did what I did. Why did I turn on Tommaso Ciampa? But nobody's like worrying about me. They're worrying about why I did this. Why did I do this to Tommaso Ciampa? But nobody's worrying about, I don't know how to explain it. They're worrying about why he did it, but not wondering why he did it. Like, they're worrying about Tommaso Ciampa in the mix of things, not worrying about Johnny Gargano. And that was pretty much his thing. Like, Tommaso Ciampa did him dirty in the past, so he got what he had coming to him. Straight like that. Understandable, And he had some animosity towards Mauro, which was warranted. But, Mauro, he was just an innocent bystander. He didn't really necessarily deserve it. But I understand where Johnny was coming from, I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying I understand. So, see where that goes. Alright. Now, on to the main event of WWE NXT. And this is why I'm calling this WWE NXT. The main event didn't move me at all. First of all, there was no fucking reason for these guys to be in a cage match. At all. There's no reason for this cage match. These guys came to the ring dressed like they were going to have a street fight. Why the fuck didn't they have a street fight? Before we even get into the match, this whole feud is just, it doesn't make sense to me. We got the babyface being more of a heel than the actual heel, and the heel playing the role of the fucking babyface. You got Velveteen Dream with Roderick Strong's wife and kid on his pants, on his, his ring gear, focusing on this man's family. First of all, I'm a fucking father, and I have a family of my own. That makes me want to see Roderick Strong kick Velveteen Dream's ass. Because you don't fuck around with a man's family whatsoever. And I know I'm not the only person that feels that way. You know, that isn't, again, that's main roster booking coming on to NXT. Some of the stuff that I was actually in fear of when they started going live. We knew it was going to happen. And it's signs. It's seeping. It's showing its ugly fucking head onto NXT now. And now it's obvious. Like, before it was a few things here and there. No, now it's just obvious. This whole episode just reeked of main roster stank. So, again, you got the nigga that's supposed to be the fucking good guy looking like a dickhead and making me I'm supposed to be liking him. Like, no, I don't like them. I'm like, yo, that's dirty as shit. You don't fuck around, put a man's family on your tights, and you're supposed to be a good guy. You're supposed to, like, you know, that's not how that works. So, back into this match. These guys are brawling for the most part. It really wasn't much of a wrestling match. There was some wrestling moves here and there, but again, they both come out dressed like they're about to have a street fight, but they're in a fucking cage. They should have just had a street fight. To my knowledge, that would make the most sense. This man's disrespecting the fuck out of you and your wife and your kid. I don't want to wrestle you. I want to fight. You know? Should have just had a fucking street fight. So, the match is going on. Out comes the Undisputed Era. Mind you, this is the second cage match. And the second time in the same night that there was interference in this cage match. And like I said, the Undisputed Era. No, actually it was two run-ins. Marina Shafir comes out to give Roddy a Singapore cane. And then later on, the fucking Undisputed Era, the rest of the Undisputed Era comes out. So that's 3 run-ins in 2 cage matches. Like, that's extra. That's super fucking extra. None of that is necessary. This is the fucking kicker, though. As the main event comes to a close, Velveteen Dream pushes Roderick Strong out of the fucking cage, and he loses on purpose just so he can be locked in the cage with Adam Cole. What? And then they try to say, oh, maybe that was his plan all along. What? What? Oh my God. That shit was stupid. You guys know that I love NXT. I sit here, I gave it so much praise. I said it's the best thing about WWE. This shit was fucking dumb. Whoever produced that match, you're a fucking idiot. That was stupid. There was no reason for that to even play out the way that it did. And then you had him lay out Adam Cole and Roderick Strong and start holding on to the title. Like, my nigga, you just lost this fucking match and you think you're about to get a title shot. Why do you deserve a title shot? You didn't do anything. Actually you did do something. You just fucking lost the match. And now you think you're going to get a title shot. Okay. This is what, yeah, that's main roster shit. Like, keep that shit on Raw and SmackDown. That I don't watch. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown. I'm not saying that to sound cool. I'm saying that because I'm not a fan of the dumb shit that they do on Raw and SmackDown. Don't start doing that shit on NXT because I'm not watching Raw and SmackDown. What the fuck? That match was like a C. Honestly. I didn't even put out rates for the other matches. But whatever. All that shit was like a C-. It was stupid. This whole feud between them is dumb as hell because it's booked fucking shitty. Again, you got the babyface being more of a dickhead and an asshole than the actual heel. I feel bad for Roddy. I want Roddy to fuck Velveteen Dream up. Off the strength that I'm a man, I got a family. you know, wrestling, this man is being disrespected to the highest form. Like, but anywho, that was this week's episode of Ness-XT. Sorry for all the profanity and emotion. I just didn't like this. I didn't like this week's episode, honestly. Again, I only watched an hour of it. This was the Hulu version. They just broke down everything that happened on the episode from 2 hours into 1 hour. And honestly, from what I seen, I didn't miss much. I know that Angel Garza and Isaiah Swerve Scott had a match. I'm actually kind of upset that that wasn't on the Hulu version. Hopefully, when it hits the network, I can catch it there, because I'm a huge fan of both of those guys. But aside from that, this episode, I'm not a fan. I was not a fan, and this is what I need to come back to. You know, because I'm subjective. You know, I'm objective. I'm sorry. I'm an objective person. I'm calling it right down the middle and keep it all the way funky. You guys know I praise NXT so much. This episode was not it, Chief. Just being real. But, like always, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. You know, like and subscribe. Check out all the videos. And just keep tuning in, guys. I'm back. You know, we're all working. We're working on some new projects. I'm not going to announce them yet, but I definitely have a couple things coming up soon, and I think you guys are really going to dig it. I really got some dope ideas that I'm going to do. I'm going to run through with a couple of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel team. So, as always, we'll see you back next week. Boom.